Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, legionnaires of all ages, welcome to Left Legions Take Over the Table, Episode 6, Toronto. Today is a very special day because today we finally get to show Cap the best tag team match that NXT ever put on. Revival.
One of the best tag team matches.
The last two I've seen, those are really good.
One of the best tag team matches not only WWE has put on, but one of the best tag team matches of the last decade. That doesn't involve the Briscoes.
I completely agree. Right, and today I am Nick the Geek. I'm, of course, joined by my two cohorts and my two conspirators and our student. We are joined by Matty Laws. Matty, dancing in screen. How the hell are you?
Hello, hello. We've got a very, very busy week starting with today. So, looking forward to relaxing today and busting our ass for the next week running.
Sounds about right. Cap, how you doing? You looking forward to this?
Oh, I'm looking very forward to this. I'm actually watching this Bobby Roode intro we discussed prior to going live. It seems like NXT was trying to push Bobby Roode, and then he got to the main roster, and as the old saying goes, he got vinced.
He did get vinced because Vince took one look at him and said, "You're too old."
Yes.
How old is he here? Like 30?
39.
32?
39.
He's 39 here?
39. Might be 38. Bobby was getting on.
He was in TNA before this, so.
Yes.
That was a pretty kick-ass intro, though.
Yeah, it's an amazing entrance. Right, I will just get to the timestamp, and we will find out.
Right, which is...
I mean, you guys have hyped this tag team match quite a bit. I mean, I will say the last two, the Revival and I almost said Alpha Academy. The Revival versus Chad Gable. American Alpha, yeah. Yeah, those were two very good tag matches. It was nice to see Chad Gable when he wasn't. Well, it's obviously changed recently, but it's nice to watch Chad Gable with hair not being made a fool of.
Yes, it really is. Though I'm quite happy what they're doing with Chad at the moment.
Oh yeah, right now I think the entirety of what Alpha Academy has worked out swimmingly to a T. I think. Making them beloved, making the crowd get behind them, get behind everybody, not just Gable and Otis, but Tozawa and Maxine as well. And then to just have Gable snap and turn on them in a heartbeat has been one hell of a good story, I think. What is the timestamp, my good sir?
We are at... Give me a sec. I'm just on the promo. I'll tell you in a second.
No worries. I'm currently watching the choir sing Bobby Roode in elegantly.
53:59.
53:59?
Yeah.
All right. I'm almost there. I'm at 53:35, so I'll be there shortly.
Sweet.
Hey.
And for those of you that don't know, this is more of an adult program because we all smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not monetized. I'm not monetized. So I don't really care. If you do this, don't smoke. It's a terrible habit. It's really bad for you. It's not good. But we're all old and stupid.
Don't.
Well, Matty's not old and stupid. Matty's young and stupid, but
he's young, dumb, and full of
wrong. 53:09. You said
53:59.
Yep.
59. I knew it was something 9.
I do have to ask. Well, I mean, we can get into this. I had a couple of questions for Nick. Just curious as to your thoughts on Clash at the Castle and the Who Killed WCW documentary that I'm now caught up on. I had seen episode 1. I watched 2 and 3 this morning.
You see, I'm not caught up on the Who Watched WCW documentary because the answer is quite simple. Stone Cold Steve Austin. You don't need to watch the whole documentary to know that the reason WCW died was Stone Cold Steve Austin's popularity. So that's what it really boils down to. Because if WWF at the time hadn't been putting out a product that was more entertaining than WCW would have never died. But the other answer to that is Turner Network Television.
Yeah. TBS, Turner Network, AOL, Time Warner.
Yeah, AOL, Time Warner, the companies, and also, Steve Austin.
Yeah. Who told Tony to joke about Mick Foley winning the title?
Bischoff.
Because that made people turn over too.
125,000 houses turned over when that comment was made.
There were about 1,000 nails in WCW's coffin, but who drove the final ones? I mean, it's gosh.
But as far as Clash at the Castle goes, Cap, I loved it. It was a B show. It was a B show. It was a good B show. I'm not Scottish, so I loved the ending. I love Jenny because I'm tired of Drew McIntyre calling himself British 1 minute and then Scottish the next. He's like Andy Murray. It's really annoying.
It's the UK. Either. I mean, the UK is it's England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland.
I don't think, but I really don't think that's on Drew either, because you have to remember when Nikki Cross won the women's title, she was the first UK woman to hold it, even though Paige held it. But I digress. Yeah. No, calling Nikki Cross a full-blown Scotswoman, British, was baffling.
And now she's a Wyatt sick.
Yeah, I was really happy with Alba and Isla winning the tag titles. I thought that was nice.
Because Kaylee Ray's busted her ass for years, and
for like 20 years. For like 20 years, I've watched Kaylee Ray Alba Fire in warehouses with 50 people in the audience, and I was one of them. And I've seen her do the Hydro with 10,000 people. I've seen her do Wembley Arena. I've seen Kaylee Ray work everywhere there is to work in the UK to get where she's got. And even though she looks like a crackhead, it's really nice to see her. She does. I'm sorry, but she looks like a crackhead. She's Scottish.
I also really love Isla Dawn too. She's fantastic as well.
She's brilliant. She looks like she's got teeth that could chew through a tree, though.
Right, there ain't nothing wrong with that, buddy. I'm not looking at teeth.
Your wife is in the room, Matthew. Behave yourself.
Shush.
But no, Cap, I loved it. I thought the Punk finish was superb.
Yes.
And it led to, like, loads of people are like, why didn't he just count the three? Because he's not a referee. And he didn't go out there to count the three. He went out there to screw with Drew.
He didn't go out there to be a referee. He stole a referee shirt. We know what happened.
They showed us what happened. Bunch of friggin' idiots. I thought that was brilliant. And Drew's little I Quit promo on Raw was fantastic. Because it was
just for him to show up and murder Punk on
Friday. And murder screw Punk on SmackDown was really, really good.
And we saw it Clash the Castle. I've been saying it's coming. They need it. We saw the first hint of Cody Rhodes turning heel.
It's not happening.
Yes.
He hit AJ after he said I quit after the bell rang, hit him anyway. Classic heel move, but it was done
but he's not going to turn heel, dude. He's not going to turn heel. Think of it this way.
He asked his mom, should I do it? And she said yes. Everybody's going to listen to their mom whenever that happens.
Technically, Mrs. Rhodes is the heel.
Mama Rhodes is the biggest heel here.
I cannot wait for heel American Nightmare with Brandy. It is going to be such a great
His name is not the American Nightmare when he is a heel. It is Codelander.
Codelander. Because he thinks he's a face. He's portraying a face.
Exactly. Thinks he's a good guy, but he's actually the bad guy. That's the heel Cody we need. The guy that's deluded and thinks he's still everybody's hero, but realistically, he's just an evil scumbag. That's not going to happen.
Hogan still thought he had the NWO rights.
Also,
yes, exactly.
Also, love the fact that they brought in maybe the most talented man with the last name Fatu in wrestling history.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy Jacob's there. Have you heard? There is a trademark that has been filed. And there's
Caesar Sikoa. Yeah.
Caesar Sikoa. Now the question is this Solo's new name? Because if it's Solo's new name, it makes perfect sense because it was Roman Reigns, and now it is Caesar Sikoa running the bloodline. So I'm fine with that.
Very Italian.
Maybe it's Jacob's new name.
Did they say
possibly
Jacob on air? Did they say his name on air? Or no.
Nope.
Don't think so. Okay. So I think there's a chance it's Jacob's new name, and he's going to be like Solo's brother. You
also have to remember that they also trademarked Tala Tonga.
Yeah.
But
I'm assuming Hikaleo.
Yeah.
Which his shoot first name is Taula. Taula. But
Tala Tonga.
Calling him Tala
Chameleon.
It's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
Who are you? The Tala Tonga.
I'm taller than him.
Did you?
We've got Tama. Now we've got Tala.
Oh boy.
Right, gents. That's enough chit chat. I'll be ready to start.
Yep.
And we're starting off with one of the best tag team matches in the last decade.
We are indeed. This is up there with FTR versus the Briscoes. As far
the
as
entire rivalry is.
Right. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
I was going to say, did we just get our first Culture Club reference here on Takeover the Table?
Why don't, right, just on a different note, this music for DIY is stock music. This was stock music that they just had. Right?
Wait, it was...
And it's amazing.
Was stock music?
This was stock music, which is why they're not currently using it, because Jim Johnson owns it and he took it with him.
Oh.
Okay.
This is so much better than their current music.
CFOs.
No. Oh, no, sorry, CFO. My bad. Forgot about CFO. But CFO took it with him.
And then CFO broke up and retired, which devastating.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, you guys said I needed to watch this to get Ciampa over with me. I've always liked Gargano.
This entire storyline that we're about to take you on,
what they are running
is what's going to get you over him.
The rise of DIY, the dissolution of DIY, the breakup of Ciampa and Gargano. By the end of it, you will prefer Tommaso to Johnny.
It happened to me. It happened to me, bro.
Tommaso Ciampa understands what a heel in professional wrestling is supposed to be. It's the best way I can put it, Cap, without any spoilers.
Okay.
I mean, you have to remember, I said that he reminds me of Harley, and Nick brought up, no, he's the student of Race and Triple H.
Yeah. You said Ciampa reminds you of Harley Race?
In his when he gets to his title run, I think it mirrors closely how Harley carried the NWA World Title.
First ever 7-time NWA champion.
How when Harley got his second title run and he carried the belt like it was his own child, and he was obsessed with it, and he wouldn't let anyone go near the belt, right? And he carried the belt like it was his baby. That's what Ciampa does with his heel run. Nothing means more to him than Goldie. He carries the belt like this.
He holds it
no entrance
like
music.
This.
He has no entrance music.
Chest.
He has no merch on sale. He literally went
to the title
heel with it.
Dude, Kat, let me put it this way. He skipped out on royalties from an NXT video games check just to sell how much of a heel he was. He took himself out of a WWE 2K while he was the current NXT champion because he was doing that much of a heel run.
Right. And he insisted they stop selling all merchandise.
I was going to say, I haven't played a WWE 2K game in like 12, 13 years.
They're getting better somehow.
Is NXT on 2K games?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I know NXT had their...
They've been on there since like 2016, 2015.
Okay. I figured they were. I just because I've never heard of an NXT game, so I figured they were lumped in with 2K.
Oh, they're lumped in. Did you guys watch NXT this week?
No, but
So you didn't see Joe Hendry's entrance?
Oh no, I did see Joe Hendry's entrance. I saw him enter the battle royal. I get clips. I don't watch the whole shows. Mostly
I watched the Wyatt Six debut. I watched Punk and Drew, and then I watched Jacob Fatu. Oh, and Punk and Heyman, which
that was really good.
Me with you.
Me with you.
I cracked up so hard.
Oh no, it was so good. It's so good. Paul is so
me with you.
Job.
Heyman is
Paul
just
so good at his job.
Do you think when it's all said and done? Now, I'm going to be bold here. I don't believe this myself, but do you think when it's all said and done, they will have Heyman ahead of Heenan in terms of the greatest manager of all time?
Obviously.
I think it's because it won't be because, unfortunately, it won't be because of who he's managed. It'll be because of what he's done for the business.
Yeah,
that's
not
why.
Not just as
Paul will be held up here because of what he did for the business. Like, it's an old thing to say because it's been gone for like 20, 30 years. The ECW changed professional wrestling for the better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
without even question.
You can even say that, his management, like as a ringside manager, that also adds because how many titles
he gets his guys over.
He's managed. How many titles has the people he's managed combined won? Lesnar's got a shit ton of title runs. Roman has a few title runs under Heyman. How many times did the Usos win the tag titles while he was managing them?
Well, they just held him forever.
Even Cesaro won the US champ when he was under Heyman.
Yeah,
Michael McGillicuddy. Hennings Kid won the IC champ. Yeah.
Ryback won
They were failed Heyman guys. Punk had at the time the longest world title reign when he was a Paul Heyman guy.
And look in WCW who he managed.
The whole New Jackson Alliance: Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Beautiful Bobby Eaton,
Arn Anderson.
The list of guys that Heyman
managed Undertaker, although briefly, but managed Undertaker
when he was Mean Mark
Callis. Yes.
Heyman goes in on damn near every merit that's not an in-ring performer.
Well, and also, I think it was when I was watching or listening to Taker's podcast, he was saying how, he could tell that WCW was not going to do anything with him, but because of Heyman's connections to WWE, it was Heyman who helped him get the job with Vince back in 1990, which, when you think about two guys, Taker, WCW wanted nothing to do with. Steve Austin, WCW wanted nothing to do with. Cactus Jack wanted nothing to do with him. It's like, are you guys fucking blind?
I know. It's like you're so
but as you clean your glasses, but Jesus Christ, Dustin Rhodes, they let him go. It's like you people are idiots. They couldn't stick their thumb up their ass in 3 tries.
Now, the crazy thing is you can see Dusty in the back going, "Are you crazy, baby? These people are gold. Why are you letting them go?" And then WCW management going, "Nah, they won't make us any money.
Book me with them. I'll put them over." $1 million gig.
Now, Cap, something I want you to, because there's going to be a lot of them in this match. You are going to see DIY and the Revival pull out so many of, the classic Hart Foundation tropes because they are in Toronto, and all 4 of these men were students of not just team wrestling, but working their crowd.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
The Revival are wearing pink, black, and white.
Yeah, pink and black. I also really loved DIY's gear at this time as well. It was rugged. It seemed like, scrappy, but it also
Counter machine.
And you said this one is 2 out of 3 falls, correct? Or was that
the first fall?
Oh! That was one of the gnarliest shatter machines you'll see in this NXT run.
Doing the bread on the apron.
It's also because Gargano Gargano kind of sold that like he died.
Yeah.
And, very classic 2 out of 3 falls match, the heel has to get the first one. Just puts that extra bit of pressure on the baby face.
It's like when they go into War Games and the heel's supposed to start.
Yeah.
When you go to War Games, the heel team should get the advantage. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because the baby face
every year at War Games in WCW, it's like the heels always like how many coin tosses in a row? It's like there was no fucking coin toss. Dusty booked it the way he booked it. Bad
guys go first, baby. Otherwise, how are people fighting from underneath?
I wouldn't say I believe that much in the supernatural, but somewhere I just have to think if there is an afterlife, Dusty is just looking down on Cody right now and just smiling, grinning ear to ear at how good Cody's run here has been the last couple. Gosh, we're up on some 3 years now, I guess. AEW's ratings went into the shit tank. Did you see that?
It was a shame because me and Jim review Dynamite every week now. AEW being my boss, Strip King of Wrestling, every Thursday at 1 a.m. UK time. We did it this week, review it every week, and it was actually a very good Dynamite this week. They've been making
225,000 less than NXT. This, I think, 225 or 250,000.
512.9 thousand homes.
Yeah, and NXT did like 7.
Yeah, which is
40 something. Yeah,
awful for wrestling show. But they were going up against the college baseball finals. Is that a big thing?
In American, no. I mean, it's a thing, but it's not like the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl or the World Series. It's a thing. But also, right now you have the NHL, which we're getting a Game 7 Monday night. Which, if fucking Florida blows this, they had a 3-0 lead over Edmonton. Edmonton has tied it up.
The reverse sweep is going to happen, Cap.
If Edmonton pulls this off, you will never hear the end of it. Number one, because Edmonton fans are lunatics. And also, Carolina just blowing this is going to be hilarious. Our buddy Urinating Tree is going to live stream it Monday night. So
look at that. So that's how you heal it up. Put someone in the body scissors and just cross-face him repeatedly.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing, I love that they have kept Gargano in. To get the hot tag to Ciampa, like Rock and Roll Express, they would beat the piss out of, Ricky Morton and then get the hot tag to Gibson to bring him in,
This is very much the Rockers versus the Hart Foundation in its structure.
I would buy that.
That's the best way I could put it. It's structured a lot like the Rockers versus the Hart Foundation used to be structured, where Marty would sell like crazy, get the crap beaten out of him, and get the hot tag to Shawn.
Since we're watching the developmental, I'm going to throw a question out to both of you and answer it in any order, back and forth, one at a time, whatever. You've got all the Danhausen monies. You're starting your own wrestling school, developmental, whatever. You've got all the monies. Who are the 2 or 3 teachers you are hiring to run your wrestling school currently above ground?
Above ground. And it can be anybody.
Well, obviously, anyone alive right now who's, retired or getting ready to retire, who the 2 or 3 guys you're bringing in to run your wrestling school, to develop your talent. Okay.
CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Cody Rhodes.
Cody's not retiring anytime soon.
No. But you said anyone alive.
Well, I said alive who is also retired or going to be retiring soon.
Punk's on his last run, so he's fine. Danielson's retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah,
he's fine. Third guy.
I'll give you Punk, but Cody, no, he's got a while to go, my friend.
Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Because you have 3 different generations of wrestler that, in some respect, were all inspired by Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brian went to Shawn's training school for a while. Punk, as far as I know, had connections with Shawn Michaels when he got to WWE. And Shawn has, well, look what he's doing with NXT. The guy he understands what developing talent is about. In the case of Punk, you have arguably the best talker of the last 30 years for your promo side of things. And Bryan in ring is better than 90% of wrestlers in the world. He's a phenomenal seller. He's a phenomenal technician. He's a good flyer. He understands what you should and shouldn't do. So for me, they'd be the perfect three.
Hot tag to Ciampa.
So I tried to think outside of the box, but still, get trainers that I know would benefit my crop of talent. For promo and character work, I have picked Mick Foley.
All right.
Nobody else can teach a group of young talent how to get not just themselves over, but how to reinvent themselves, how to get a new character going if something is failing. And in that same vein, longevity. Because he did some wild shit, but he was able to go for years. Hello,
Russ. Thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you.
Someone I want overseeing in-ring. Danielson would be good. I don't want to use Michaels because you had just said Michaels.
Well, I mean, you
can pick the same
name. There was one name I was going to use because it was him or Shawn, and I'm surprised you haven't gone that way.
Well, I'm thinking
especially considering we're watching Toronto. No, especially considering you're watching Toronto.
Oh, Bret Hart would be fantastic.
I may be revealing he was the number one name I had on my list.
I think
this is a question I had. Bret Hart was the first name I wrote down.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Nobody in the history of the business. But he is so bitter on the business itself now, though. I don't think he's got
you can turn that around.
All the monies, and you can, if he knows he's working for someone who's going to pay him and give a shit,
He'll find that passion again. And the thing is, nobody in the history of the business has sold like Bret Hart.
No.
Never hurt anybody.
Never hurt anybody. He makes everything look like you just killed him. I mean, the chest bump into the turnbuckles.
Yeah. You think his sternum just collapsed. Well, he actually had an injury once where he cracked his sternum, so he knew how to, he knows the pain that goes through. Yep.
That's pinfall number 1 for DIY.
So, Maddie, you said Danielson.
No, I said
Foley.
I said Foley. Yeah, I think it would probably have to go Bret for in-ring work. Like, who's going to show them how to sell but make it look believable, and he'll teach them how to throw a fucking punch.
Yep.
Oh,
Jarrett.
I was about to be like, or do I have Jarrett teach him in ring? Because Jarrett knew how to get.
Oh,
that
did anybody?
As well.
Speaking of Jeff, has anybody seen the interview he's just done with AEW?
Yes,
for the Owen Foundation.
That almost made me tear up.
So emotional. I'm so happy Jarrett is in this tournament.
Yeah, to people who are bitching that Jarrett's in this tournament, no,
he was legitimately Owen's best friend in real life. They were tag team partners. They were tag team champions. They traveled together. They trained together. They were on the road together. Stu and Jerry Jarrett go back years. It's the first time Tony has done something in the last 6 months when I'm 100% behind it.
I would lean very much towards not as the teacher, as a teacher, but as the guy to actually run the promotion, because he's got Jerry's brain for business. Yeah. He's got the brain for, whatnot. So I would probably, to run the business, I would probably lean to Jeff because, fuck, how much money did Jerry Jarrett make in Memphis?
The thing is, it amazes me that Tony Khan.
Such a sequence here.
Now, just to clarify, so everyone doesn't think I'm a hater, I love AEW. I love AEW because what it represents. It represents growth for the business. It represents more places for the wrestlers to work. It is good, and it behooves the wrestling business that AEW exists. The problem is it's run by a fan, not a booker. It's run by a billionaire fanboy who couldn't book his way out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
He has in that company Jeff Jarrett, Billy Gunn,
Jake Roberts,
Jerry Lynn,
Arn Anderson.
He had Arn Anderson. Right there is a booking committee. Because if he doesn't want to hire a booker, you've got a committee there that will help vet and go through everything you want to do on the show. And by the end of it, to quote my mate friend Simon, you will make it make sense. It makes zero sense that Tony tries to take all of this on. No one can run 3 Fortune 500 companies on their own. No. I'm sure he doesn't do everything for the Jaguars.
No. Jaguars have a general manager. They have,
they have an entire front office.
Yes.
Yeah. Right now, he's also got Rocky Romero there. By the way, I find it hilarious that at the moment, Rocky Romero just randomly keeps showing up in main events on AEW television that he's clearly booking himself in.
You gotta love Rocky Romero.
Because he's like, I can just picture him in the other, just think of it, Tony. John Moxley versus Rocky Romero.
It writes itself.
It's just amazing. Asuka versus the Bleeding Man. It's just, I can see Rocky pitching it to Tony, and Tony's just such a fanboy that he's going, yeah, it's a great idea. It's like one thing that I think they've done recently, two things that they've done recently from a business standpoint that I think make a lot of sense, was hiring Kevin Dunn's protege, the guy that WWE fired 3 years ago, because he got taught by Kevin Dunn but didn't shoot TV like Kevin Dunn. So they fired him because Vince wanted it done like Kevin Dunn, and then he brought Kevin Dunn back in when Kevin had his little hiatus.
Yeah.
So hiring him, I think, is a phenomenal idea because the camera team has vastly improved on AEW television. The production looks better with him running the truck. So that is a good move. The other good move, and I don't know who's behind it, is the introduction of video packages.
Oh, that was a near fall.
For example, Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer at Forbidden Door. Now, every wrestling fan and their mother knows who Mercedes Moné is. If you say, oh, it's Sasha Banks, they're like, oh, Sasha Banks, I know Sasha Banks. Or they know her as Mercedes.
Vaquer, on the other hand,
people do not know who Stephanie is. I myself have seen 4 Stephanie Vaquer matches. That's it. I saw the match with Mercedes Moné last year in the semifinals of the other year. In the semifinals.
Dax got some color the hard way.
Yeah,
yes, he did.
In the Mercedes Moné half. That makes sense. But Stephanie needs promotion. So what did they do for the last 3 weeks building up to this week? They ran a promo package all about Stephanie. They had Mercedes wrestle her tag team partner while they ran on about Stephanie. They have done a good job of introducing Stephanie Vaquer to the AEW audience without ramming her down everybody's throats. This is good. And they've managed to do it through the introduction of video packages and promos. Something that wrestling has always been improved by. Always.
If you've got a good enough video production team, I don't see why video packages are such a bad thing. However, the amount of people on Twitter that take that comment and flip it, because like when Joe Hendry popped up on NXT, I saw so many people go, but where was the video package?
It's like, no, because they don't understand the difference between a surprise and a build, mate.
Right.
Yes.
Like they've already, Stephanie Vaquer Mercedes Moné was announced 2 months ago. 2 months ago, they announced that match. So they've used the video package to introduce this character that they already had appear on TV and nobody knew who she was. When she came out and they did the stand there with the belt held high. And then they've done a very, very good job of introducing Stephanie. Joe Hendry was supposed to
Shadow Machine.
And also, how many times have they done weeks and weeks of video package building up someone, spend all that money, and the character just absolutely fucking flops? Glacier. Example, Exhibit A.
It is Exhibit A. Alex Wright.
Well,
I love Alex Wright. That's Wunderkind, but that's
Alex Wright or the Berlin character. Did they do a
Berlin?
Berlin, yeah.
I don't call him Berlin. I call him Alex Wright.
Me too. I was thinking of the mistake. There was
when your manager,
then there was Berlin, who was like,
and your manager and bodyguard gets in a world title match before you, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Maddie, who was you said Foley, you said Brett. Who was number 3?
It's going to be a 3 and 4. Taker and Mickie James.
Okay.
Ooh. If I'm going to hire a female wrestler for the girls, Gail Kim.
Gail Kim would be great. But again, Mickie James, another one of those people who kind of revitalized her career a couple of times. Gail Kim really only got over in TNA, but that's not her fault. Such a beautiful sequencing of moves right there.
No, this is the moment.
I also love Dash and Dawson at this time, grabbing each other's hands. Like,
so that they can't.
Tap. Don't you tap.
And they both tap.
At the same time, though.
Beautiful storytelling.
My only qualm about this match is they didn't give it enough time.
Thank you.
They could have easily. Yeah. What was the time limit on this? About 15 minutes is what they.
It was
about a 22 minute match.
22 minutes.
This deserved at least half an hour, if not 45.
Yeah.
And these guys could have done that.
I'd have given it 30 minutes myself because it's a takeover. There is enough time on the card.
And for a 2 out of 3 falls match to only go like 20 minutes, yeah, it felt short.
But it's so well done.
Yeah, it was really well done. I wish they would have given him more time.
Oh, so do I. But that's not a bad thing because you were left wanting more, which was Triple H's whole methodology in NXT, was leave them wanting more. So they'll come back
which led
next
to
week.
The next match.
Correct.
So if I'm hiring my training school, Bret Hart, Jim Cornette. I need somebody to teach the bigger guys. So if I can't get Undertaker, I'm going for Kevin Nash.
Nice.
And then the lady to run the women's end. I'm leaning either Natalya or maybe because I'm thinking Becky or Charlotte. One of them's coming towards the end of their run. I would probably try and wrangle one of them. I'm not as up on the ladies as far as which ones are the true blue. I mean, I know what I watch, but they're all active. But yeah, Brett, Cornette, either Taker or Nash, and then I would say probably Natalya, just because if you come from the Hart family, you're going to know what the hell you're doing. And she's had such a run. I mean, you can't have a run that long.
Natty has the same problem, and Jimmy really disagrees with me on this comment, as Claudio Castagnoli. He's boring.
Fantastic wrestler, but not much
boring. Of a in the case of Cesaro, he speaks 5 languages, and he's boring in all of them. How can you speak 5 languages and be boring in every single one?
No, so here's the thing. I like the last promo that they had Claudio actually cut, where he's like, I'm getting towards the end of the road. I'm at the point where I just want to face people that I haven't faced before. And he started naming people off. That's a character that you can get behind for him, where he's literally just like, I've got a list, I'm checking it off. I'm going after each one of you on my list.
That was Cody's indie character. That's why.
Exactly. And it would work for Claudio because he's been in the business for 20 plus
years. Didn't Jericho do something similar at one point in the list?
No, that was him just putting people on a list because they were a bitch.
Okay, I wasn't watching at that time, but I remember I've seen things about Jericho's list.
While we're on the subject of AEW and Chris Jericho, the learning tree.
Oh crap!
Have we been paying attention to the learning tree?
Nick,
I mean, I think a few eyeballs on it here and there. I'm so over Jericho at this point. I know he's a chameleon. I know he reinvents himself. I'm over Jericho. Like I get it, but I just don't want any more.
I was live at the Loveland, Colorado AEW Rampage and Dynamite. I saw Jericho 5 fucking times live. That's too much Jericho.
He has learned the Hulk Hogan political, whatever it is that helps to get him, whatever helps him get over, he's learned that Hogan method of somehow just staying around, not till people are, I'm tired of him, but obviously everyone else isn't, but he's managing to keep himself in the mix. Far past his expiration date.
A large majority of people are tired of Jericho, bro. A large majority of people.
Well, I know. I hear and see it all the time, but there's also people like Nick who do love him. He's past his expiration date, but some people still dig him.
I think the funniest thing about all of this is, yes, he's making himself kind of the center. But once again, he's bringing younger talent around him that could use the rub, like Brian Keith. Yeah, they introduced him through a couple of matches and stuff, but now we're starting to see a bit of a character. When they were
but he's buried some of them Daddy too.
Magic. Oh, dude, he's buried a lot of people, but that's Jericho. But if you think about it, the only people that's kind of been buried were the people around him, like the people in the Appreciation Society. They kind of had to revitalize themselves. Jake Hager's out of the company completely. Yeah. But if you look at the segment from the Loveland show, when the Learning Tree interacts with Cool Hand Ange and Daddy Magic, Brian Keith said one line, and it made the entire segment.
Better respect Chris Jericho.
You better make sure your baby respects Chris Jericho.
So what's the next time stamp, Nick?
The next time stamp, I'm just doing the promo, so we're not at it yet. So just chat away, and I'll tell you when we get there.
But it's Oscar and Mickey.
Oscar versus Mickey James.
We might as well just continue the promo.
Yeah, I'm on the promo right now, so.
And again, to prove my point about Mickey James being my leader for the women's, they brought Oscar in and they were like, fuck, we don't have any legitimate names, legitimate competition just yet for her in NXT. So we got to bring somebody who's got that notoriety, that legend status. And they brought Mickey James in, and you're about to see, it's a damn fine match.
Is that Nia? Was that Nia?
Yeah.
Lord.
Cap, Nia has been in the WWE for like a decade.
Far too long. However long she's been there, it's been far too long.
The perfect pick for Queen of the Ring.
Well, if you needed a heel villainous, I equate Nia Jax winning Queen of the Ring to Mabel winning King of the Ring back in '95.
This is much better than Mabel winning. I actually came around on that.
They're big, they're clumsy, they hurt people. They both won the same tournament. I mean, it's
right. Nia, one, hasn't hurt anyone since she got back.
Since she's returned.
Two, since she's returned, she's not injured anybody. Two, she's lost shit ton of weight.
She has dropped some.
Right?
She's arguably in the best she's arguably in the best condition she's been in her entire career.
Agreed. And she has her promos have been gold.
Because they're all
exactly
centered, they're all centered on that type of thinking. The people that want her out of the business. She's just targeting those people.
Exactly. It's perfect for her. She was the perfect choice for Queen of the Ring because she can be an overbearing bitch better than most people on the roster.
And that spot with Lyra was so fucking clean.
That's the thing. If she hadn't improved, she'd have killed her.
Yeah, I was about to say she would have crushed Lyra.
I love putting her in that spot because it's perfect. I like my Queen of the Ring, whatever, to be heels. It's a great vehicle to get
King of the Ring. Owen Hart, best King of the Ring ever.
Oh yes, Triple H was another good one. Steve Austin.
I don't know. I'm loving Gunther as King of the Ring, where he just carries the crown. He was never put it.
Very European. You don't wear the crown; you carry it.
Well, and also he would look so friggin' ridiculous.
Especially for his character, which is so damn serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He's doing it right. I'm very curious to see what they do with Gunther. I mean, he had a great
we already know what they're going to do with Gunther.
World champion by WrestleMania.
They have Bash at Berlin coming up. Two things are going to happen at Bash at Berlin. Gunther's going to main event, and Ludwig Kaiser's going to win the Intercontinental title. I'm telling you now.
Dude, that would be badass. That would actually be badass.
That is what I'm calling.
He's going to face Priest, right?
Yeah, and he's going to beat, and everyone thinks he's going to beat Priest.
I want
him to beat Priest, but I think Priest's going to retain. Because I think there's a story to be told with El Campeon.
And you can still have
I'm so torn on Priest.
You can still have Gunther be the guy to beat Priest as well.
I like and enjoy so much about Damian Priest, but there's this little like nagging, BB pellet just floating around in my noggin with him that I can't completely. It's like I can wrap one arm around him, but I can't. It's not even the age because his work is so damn good. I would prefer he was younger, but his work is so damn good. It's like I can wrap one arm around him. I just can't wrap two. If that makes any sense. I can, give him the bro shake, one arm around with a handshake. I can't just wrap.
Damian Priest is not Damian Priest. He's not being the right Damian Priest.
No, he's playing the role of a dad right now.
Yeah, the Damian Priest that we want to see is Punishment Martinez.
Which we might get. We still might get that.
Punishment Martinez is Damian Priest's name in Ring of Honor. And he was equivalent to The Undertaker for Ring of Honor. That was his position.
Not in terms of character, but in terms of
who he was for the company. He was the veteran big guy that had a spooky wooky character that beat everybody. But he also lost to the correct people.
I don't think he ever won. I don't think he ever won the ROH World Title.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of similarity to the in-ring work. I mean, I get the comparison. He's a little shorter than Taker.
A little bit more kicky.
A little bit more what?
Kicky.
Yeah, a little bit more kicky. Which, I mean, so many of these guys who are coming up have had some form of martial arts training of some kind, of some form. Yeah. MMA's huge. People got into it. It's a thing. I don't it used to be only guys from Japan did that, or you had your Asian American who did it.
Punk was one of the first Yankees to start throwing kicks in all of his matches.
I mean, now it's a thing. I don't mind it. It's another topping on the pizza. My favorite type of pizza is Supreme. It's just another thing to put on there to divvy up the taste. So, what? Just to make sure we're still on the same. I'm at 130. Well, where do we need? I'm at 131.06.
You're
132, 133. No, 132.12.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Nick are at the exact same point. Cap, you're just about a minute behind us.
Okay, well, let me get myself caught up, meow.
And remember, Asuka is not even a year out of Japan, I believe, so some of her shit is stiff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's... I've always liked Asuka. I can't find a bad thing to say about Asuka.
There isn't.
Well, there is one thing you can say about Asuka. Now, you both know Andy.
Yep.
Andy has an opinion on Japanese wrestlers that I tend to agree with in American companies.
That one being?
Japanese wrestlers in ring are banging. Right?
Yes.
They're fantastic. They're stiff as shit, they're very realistic, and they're very believable. And their timing is bob on. Because if your timing isn't bob on in Japan, you'll break your neck.
Yes.
Right? You need to be in the exact right place at the exact right time, constantly in a New Japan match or a Noah match or something like that, because otherwise you're going to get hurt.
Okay, so I've got Mickie James holding the rope open for Asuka.
Yep, same point.
Yes.
Okay, all right. There we go.
Right, you're going to get hurt. However, history would tell us that Japanese wrestlers in America do not make the best world champions.
No, I'm trying to think.
And I will always point out the language barrier there.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
It's always the language barrier. Because even if you look at the short-lived rivalry that was Jinder Mahal versus Nakamura, it was right there. They literally told it in the way that Vince McMahon would probably say it in a fucking meeting.
Yeah. It's the unfortunate fact is the promos never hit home. And Asuka suffered from the same thing. In NXT, it was different because it didn't matter in NXT.
All you have to do is let them speak their language. You've got the fucking screen up there
with subtitles.
You've got the big fucking Titantron there live in person.
Thank you, Jeremy Borash.
I've been to a live fucking pay-per-view. I've been to a live Dynamite Rampage taping. You got the screen there. They're showing you what's showing on TV. Put the fucking subtitles up there.
I've been to the pyramids. I've been to the Great Wall of China. I've even managed to watch a grown man satisfy a camel.
Put the fucking subtitles. Let them speak. And that goes for every race. If your national tongue is Spanish, a.k.a. Roosh in AEW, let them cut promos in Spanish. Put the fucking subtitles up.
I'll throw one out there to you when we're on this topic.
It'll also make the crowds look incompetent whenever they do the what chants because the shit's up there on the fucking screen.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other night because Maddie and I are both huge fans of this guy. Had he came around, say, in the 70s, Ultimo Dragon, NWA World's Champion, in the 70s, I think...
No.
Hello, Mr. Bigglesworth.
Nick, the classic Bond villain.
Hey, you leave my cat alone.
He's about to portray that shit in real time soon.
Like if you had Ultimo Dragon working, the Carolinas in the 70s, I think he could have been an NWA World's Champion. The Foreign Menace was always a huge thing.
Well, shit.
Yeah, different subject, but a bit of shilling. Wednesday at 4 p.m. on. Are we recording or are we going live?
We're going to be recording and then putting it out after that.
Do we have a time and date yet?
No, we need to find out how long it takes to edit and then upload said video.
In that case, I'll keep it under wraps, and Cap will tell you about it after the show.
All right.
All I know is that we'll be recording. We'll be recording something this Wednesday, and it's something very
going to be epic. And for once, not wrestling. So anyone that is a nerd or geek like me is probably going to really enjoy what we're doing. Can't tell you what it is yet, but It's going to be epic.
Nick, well, I'll say this. I cannot wait for you to get caught up on the Who Killed WCW, because episode 3. Now, granted, WCW's talent roster in the year 2000, it was depleted to a degree.
You're telling me,
However, incorrect.
I said to a degree.
I had to look at this roster before.
And
yes,
that degree. No. You're missing the point, mate. WCW's roster in 2000 was lacking star power.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
I said depleted to a degree.
Yeah, you were right. All the big stars weren't there. However, the young lads they had coming up were phenomenal workers for WCW standards.
Yes, they were.
Sean O'Hare is one that springs to mind.
I had
phenomenal young worker.
Mask.
Anyway, the point I was getting at was at one point in the episode, Vince Russo, and I am quoting him verbatim, in 2000, I was trying to get ratings. I was probably a better worker than 80% of the guys on the roster.
Okay, actually looking at the roster that was there.
That is a quote directly from Russo. He said he was better than 80% of the people on the roster.
We already know Russo's head has been so far up his own ass that he can see what he had for breakfast every day.
Yes.
If you switch that 0 for the 8 and put a decimal point before the 0, you might have something there, Vince. You might have something there.
I don't hold the hatred for Russo that a lot of other... I mean, I think he was shit at his job, but I don't hold the hatred for him that other people have.
That's the thing.
I have hatred for the assholes who hired him.
The guy was a fucking magazine writer.
Yeah.
He turned out to be quite good at telling shock TV wrestling. Swerve City.
This move right here
must be his favorite wrestler.
This mood a lot.
Isn't Swerve?
I've only had a couple of anatomy classes in my life, but I don't see how you can apply that hold safely. I know they do it. It's just the human anatomy is not supposed to bend in certain ways, and when I see that hold, I'm like, how the fuck did they do that and not break each other's legs?
It's because the reason it doesn't happen is because of the arc that the main wrestler does.
I mean, the pressure is not
bendy wrestlers. Bendy wrestlers are the only people that should do the move a lot.
There's one wrestler that did it, and I was always impressed with the way that she did it. Nick, you remember Emma, how she would literally slowly work her way back into it while doing her taunt. That was always ridiculously impressive.
Tennille Dashwood, as she's known these days, is a great worker.
She's a fantastic worker. It's why they put her and Paige at like the marquee at first.
Yeah. They just never really found out how to present her in WWE.
Yes, they did. Whenever they brought her back with the All About Me gimmick, that was what you needed to work with. And they didn't work with her.
Yeah.
They had her. They had her in the right gimmick. They just never put her on TV.
Right.
I feel bad for Tennille Dashwood. I really do.
And I gotta say, I love Mickey's outfit here, just because for whatever reason, maybe it's because I love so many, great, 60s and 70s bands. I'm just a sucker for bell bottoms. I don't know why. I don't know why.
That color pattern has always been kind of like a unique.
Well, not the pattern, the pants. The bottom style pants.
I understand that.
I bet you were a massive You'd have been a massive Bay City Rollers fan, Cap.
No, I'm not, because I do not like the Bay City Rollers. I've actually lately I've been on an absolute deep Led Zeppelin Jimmy Page dive, because I've been forcing myself to start playing guitar again, and my favorite guitar always has and always will be the Les Paul, and you can't think of the Les Paul without thinking of Jimmy Page. And as when I do like deep dives on guitarists, it's mind blowing every time I do it, like how much of a genius Page was in.
Well, I've got to say,
as a player.
Back to this.
and as a producer. But
James,
go ahead.
Might be the most underrated female wrestler on the planet.
Oh no, without a shadow of a doubt, because everybody loves Mickey, but they don't ever truly appreciate her.
How good she is. How good she is. She's leading this match.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like she's. Oh, by the way, little interesting tidbit. She's talking Japanese to Asuka.
She speaks Japanese.
She speaks Japanese, wrestling
Enough
Japanese.
Enough to call a match.
She speaks wrestling Japanese.
Okay.
Like you were saying, Nick. Like, and the only company that like really truly showed it was her run in TNA. Like that last late run where she was constantly in the title picture or the champion. Yeah. Like,
and that's very impressive because from what I understand, apart from English, Japanese is the hardest language in the world to learn.
Yes, it is. Like Chris Jericho can speak Japanese, but he can't read Japanese. He can't read or write Japanese, but he can speak it.
Who?
Jericho.
Oh.
He can speak Japanese, but he can't read or write Japanese.
Now, Omega, I know, can speak Japanese. Can he write?
Kenny's fluent. Kenny can write, read, speak.
Okay. I mean, I knew he could speak it because, I mean, God, he spent so much time over there.
Yeah, Omega is.
Me again. He's not stupid. You can't learn and she tapped. You can't learn a language like Japanese and be stupid.
No. Kenny's a nerd, though. So nerds make learn things easier.
I mean, you also have to remember he was able to like legitimately talk with Nintendo heads.
Yeah.
Like, that's something.
What's the word on his diver? I mean, I can't stand Omega as a wrestler, but the whole diverticulitis thing, I don't like to see anybody.
Surgery. He's had surgery. It was the person who did the surgery was the same guy that did Brock Lesnar's surgery.
Makes sense.
Apparently the number one in the world.
Gastrointestinologist.
As far as I'm aware, because Kenny did a stream on Twitch. As far as what he has said, the surgery went well. There is no time frame on his return.
He's just working.
The surgery was successful.
Yeah, I mean, diverticulitis, if it doesn't kill you, it can pretty much maim you if you don't have that taken care of appropriately.
It's why Brock can't fight in the UFC anymore. Shane McMahon almost died to it during their trip to the fucking Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a legit horrible thing, but I can totally Omega. I don't know if we'll see another full-time run for him. How old is he? 38?
I think we'll see another full-time run.
Well, he'll
in the sense of the run that Bryan Danielson is currently on.
Full-time for how long? We talking a year, 2 years?
3 years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because if you're a talent like Kenny Omega, and 2 out of the 3 people here think Kenny Omega is a fantastic in-ring worker, you want to preserve that. You want that shit to last a while. So I could totally see,
everyone.
I like Kenny for the most part.
The one thing you got to realize about Kenny is at his heart, he's a tough bastard Canadian.
No, he's in this business. He wants to die in the ring.
No, he is a tough son of a bitch. He's a man who, in his own words, believes that sometimes violence is the answer. So, Kenny's just an old school guy.
It's a question, and the answer is yes.
I cannot say the same thing for his 2 compadres from, California.
The Bucks were good in Japan. However, whenever they kind of came back to the States, their matches became linear. The same thing, unless they were in the ring with the Briscoes.
I have had bowel movements that are more entertaining and interesting than the Bucks.
My brother and you guys are going to probably absolutely hate me for using this comparison, but do you know who you compare the Young Bucks in America to for their match
Rockers?
Structure? Nope. Rob Van Dam.
Who?
Rob Van Dam. Think about it. Simon Diamond is quoted in saying he never used to call Rob's matches wrestling matches. He used to call them offensive exhibitions. where you knew exactly what moves he was going to do, and you just kind of rated him out of 10 every time. It's the same with the Young Bucks in America. The Young Bucks do the exact same shit in every single match. Every single match.
It's just depending on who.
How well do they do it?
We've seen it before.
To me, like ECW RVD, like the original ECW RVD, that was some of the most fun I have ever had, at least as a kid or a teenager.
Wrestler of his generation.
Watching pro wrestling was watching RVD and ECW.
Rob Van Dam and Terry Lynn are the two best wrestlers of their respective
generation. What generation does that technically fall into, though, Nick? Does that fall into
wrestling wrestling generations aren't the same as actual generations.
Right.
Wrestling generations is the next crop of guys.
Timestamp, Nick. Timestamp I need to be at.
Just keep it rolling. It's the next match.
It is?
You should have Joe and Nakamura on screen at the moment.
Well, I had a commercial, so I'm at 52:14.
Well, I'll pause it before the match, and I'll tell you where we are.
Okay.
If that doesn't prove one thing, it's that NXT definitely knew how to build their fucking show.
I'm at 148.36. Matty, what about you?
I've got Nakamura coming up. I'm at 148.38.
Okay, I'll just
promo for the match. I've got the promo for the match has just started.
Okay. I'll stay at 152.14. You guys catch up. Just to your point, yes, Jerry Lynn, another phenomenal talent. Mm-hmm. And I was so sad not sad, but angry, I should say, that his WWFE run was the shits.
Oh, it was terrible. That awful promo where he just kept saying JR after every other word that he did from WWE New York that got him fired because he was pissed off. And he'd been told that JR was responsible for everything that happened to him in WWF, which was a complete lie. It was awful. Jerry's run in WWF was
forgettable. Pleasantly forgettable.
Okay. I hate to cut everybody off right here because this promo is one of the greatest things NXT has ever done. Shinsuke or Samoa Joe, man-to-man, calling out Nakamura and going, I want my title rematch. Nakamura saying, cool, you're on. And then Joe absolutely going ballistic, assaulting Nakamura. And then coming out next week on NXT going, Regal, patience is a virtue. And I am not a virtuous man. Give me Nakamura or bring me my NXT championship. It is the single greatest promo Samoa Joe has ever cut.
Mm-hmm.
And he tore down the entire ring on SmackDown that one night.
Joe is not a gentleman I would fuck with. If Joe were a 65, 70-year-old man in a wheelchair, I still would not mess with Samoa Joe. Because he would, despite whatever debilitating illness he may have, he would get up out of that wheelchair and pull my head through my ass.
I also love the dynamic between Samoa Joe and William Regal at this point in time. Because Samoa Joe did not give a shit. He would body Regal if Regal actually stepped up to him.
I love anything involving William Regal. I can't help it. That man can basically do no wrong. He was the original guy to wrestle with a broken frickin' neck.
Yeah, no, this whole, like, the whole build-up to this was insane because we saw Samoa Joe in his most raw form.
This is, in my opinion, the best feud over the NXT World Championship they ever did.
Over Joe and Finn?
Yes.
Over Gargano Ciampa?
Yes.
Okay.
I say to Mr. Regal, anyone who doubts just how damn good he was at his peak, watch William Regal 1993 to 1997. The absolute, whenever he was on a card, you knew, okay, Regal's match is going to be awesome. Sting's match is probably going to be awesome. Flair's match is going to be awesome. Regal and Steamboat. My God, that clinic they put on at Starrcade '93. Jesus, it was only 15 minutes. Folks, go watch Regal Steamboat Starrcade '93. I can't get enough of it.
So,
right, Joe's doing his entrance. Everybody up to the same point?
Yeah.
I'm at 152.14. What do I need to be?
152.52.
Yeah, I was about to say about 40 seconds after. We kind of got sidetracked.
All right. I'm basically there.
So, Nick.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, was it Brooklyn or was it this show that Joe breaks his jaw?
Oh. It might be this one. I'm not sure, but it might be this one from that knee.
Because, Cap, a little bit behind the curtain, I don't remember which match it was between Joe and Nakamura. It was either the match at Brooklyn 2 or it was this one. But one of the Kinshasas that Nakamura delivers shatters Samoa Joe's jaw.
Well, we watched Nakamura Joe on the... Did we already watch Brooklyn 2?
Yeah, we watched Brooklyn 2 already. So I don't remember
if it was
this one.
Well, here's the thing. Joe was so good at selling and, protecting himself that you didn't tell. I might have to go back and rewatch it, but there's one that you literally see Joe like holding his jaw together during the pinfall. I don't remember if it's this one or if it was Brooklyn 2. Also, nobody gives a scarier down the nose look than
Joe. Joe is a scary man when he wants to be.
Teddy Roosevelt once said, "Speak softly but carry a big stick."
No, walk softly but carry a big stick.
Samoa Joe uses the method of, I'm the loudest person in the room, and I will also show you I'm the baddest person in the room.
Samoa Joe just lives by an adage, do unto others before they do it to you.
Before they have a chance.
And it was also Al Capone who said, you can get a lot farther in this life with a kind word and a gun than you can with just a kind word.
Kind word.
Assault first, ask questions never.
No, that's just too far, mate.
What? You're meaning to tell me Samoa Joe hasn't assaulted his fair amount of people before they even have a chance?
Of course he has, but that's wrestling, not real life.
No, you know what? I think Braun Breaker carries that same mentality.
Oh,
I think Braun Breaker could carry whatever mentality he wanted. That man is massive.
What was that?
What do you think of what they're doing with him?
I love the fact that he is the most fuck around and find out by proxy wrestler I have ever seen.
Yes.
The last thing I saw with him was
in vicinity, I'm hitting you.
It was the match with Ricochet was the last thing I saw with him. I mean, it's sort of like a great thoroughbred racehorse. You have to hold them back a little bit until you get to that final turn of the race.
Well, he had a cracking match with Sheamus on Raw.
Holding the reins back on him a bit to see just what to do.
He had a cracking match with Sheamus on Raw.
That ended in disqualification because Ludwig Kaiser assaulted Sheamus.
Yeah.
However, Braun wasn't done with Sheamus, assaulted Sheamus, and as he was going up the barricade, Ludwig was, picking the scraps, was about to attack Sheamus's knee. Braun
They both run around the ring. Opposite. They both sprint in opposite directions around the ring. Braun hits him with the gnarliest spear I have seen since Goldberg versus Nunzio in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And the thing, Shinsuke went from this to Rick Boogs playing guitar.
I know.
I will say Rick Boogs playing his entrance on guitar was badass, though.
I don't dislike the dude Boogs. I just the gimmick was just.
Speaking of, have you guys seen him recently? Like what he's doing? He's getting back into
I
power.
haven't seen him.
Remember how he tore his knee because he tried
to pick up both Usos?
Yeah. Squat 916 pounds.
Jesus.
So basically, he would squat the entire Raw Ball roster.
He could probably squat both Usos and Solo at the same time. Yeah, no. I saw that on Twitter the other day, and I was like, huh. And you tore your knees picking up the Usos.
I mean, they're not small gentlemen by any means, but also
916 pounds isn't a small amount by any means.
But at the same time, I mean, you could tell he kind of was placing himself wrong. He wasn't in a good position to do that. To lift that kind of weight, you have to be steady, sturdy, and in the right spot.
This match is the most New Japan WWE have ever gone.
These two boys.
Nakamura is just a human spider. I don't know how he's that damn flexible.
I know.
Maybe in my peak prime, when I was like 6'4", 175, I was pretty limber, but not even
when
close.
When I was like 25, I was pretty damn flexible. Now,
oh God, now I'd tear everything I've got.
Yeah. Hell, I'm older than you.
I think it might be this match where Joe breaks his jaw, because I think he was wearing the red and black trunks.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to tell until the very end of the match either, because, again, he's holding his jaw as the pinfall takes place.
Also, in that Who Killed WCW, there's a very good. No, it wasn't that one. Disregard. I was thinking of another doc I watched, but saw a doc. I know it was actually on China, Masa Chono. It was nice seeing an interview with him because I always loved Chono, and seeing him as like an older man, but still speaking so eloquently in his suit. You know, it's just like
my favorite moment with Masahiro Chono was Starrcade 99.
NWO Japan.
No, Starrcade 99. Vampiro was cutting a promo backstage. And it was a perfect example about how the inmates ran the asylum. And out of nowhere, Masa Chono just pushes Vampiro out of the way and starts screaming down the camera, I'm Masa Chono, I'm the greatest wrestler in all of Japanesia, come and fight me. Come and find me. And then Vampiro very angrily comes back over, shoves Chono. They cut the sound.
Big mistake.
And they both start hurling abuse at each other. And then they very quickly cut off camera.
As much as I like Vampiro,
Chono slapped the shit out of Vampiro.
As much as I like Vampiro, Chono would have tied him in so many knots and had taken a whole troop of Boy Scouts to get him loose.
No, I can guarantee you, as soon as they cut off, the reason they cut off is because during the live feed, they literally saw Chono give him a good old fucking palm slap upside the ear. Chono just fucking went.
Chono in his peak prime was a dangerous mofo, and I loved his matches.
Legitimate shoot fighter.
Yes. Chono, and he's probably still to this day, could, beat the living hell out of, 95% of the people walking.
Dude, it's just like Kenta Kobayashi. I'm still not fucking with that guy.
Minoru Suzuki.
No, Murder Grandpa. He got that nickname for a reason.
I know.
And I mean, we were just talking about another guy I wouldn't mess with to this day, Regal. I mean, those just one of those legit, shoot European uppercuts, and you're gonna be picking your teeth out of your shoes.
Wade Barrett's another guy.
Wade Barrett?
Wade Barrett.
Legitimate bare knuckles fighter? No. Yep. I ain't trying to fuck with that.
Fit Finley, another dude. Under no circumstances am I upsetting that gentleman.
And I think that kind of can probably go to both of their, to both Regal and Finley's kids. Like, you've got to imagine.
The match at Uncensored 96, Finley and Regal, that was a.
That's a shoot fight. That's hey, we've got a finish planned. Just battle each other.
I still to this day I think back to that match and I think that is some of the most brutal shit I have ever watched in my life. Those two guys beat the shit out of each other.
Regal plants a shoot fucking punch directly to Finley's nose.
No, Finley broke Regal's nose.
Oh, it was the other way around.
It was the other way around. And Regal continued the match.
Again, you got to think that both of their kids, like Brogan, Finn, fucking... I would not fuck with Charlie Dempsey. I would not fuck with Charlie Dempsey.
Like his dad, he's got a bit of a sinister edge.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling Regal's kid enjoys hurting someone. Did you see him at Bloodsport, Nick?
Yes.
So, oh my God, Finley.
That submission that he finished the match with, where he had both of his legs and one of his arms, just left him with one arm so he could tap.
Yeah, I'm going to allow you to tap.
It blows my mind every time I see it. You'd think it wouldn't, but just how damn agile Joe was. This isn't even like peak prime Joe. Just how damn agile
you go
that
back
man was.
Well, you go back and watch what I believe the greatest triple threat in the history of professional wrestling: Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels for the X Division Championship at.
I know the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of the show.
Victory Road.
It was a one-off. It was a one-off pay-per-view.
It started with an R, I want to say.
Hang on, I'm going to Google this. It's really good.
Was it Resurrection?
No. Unbreakable, maybe? Yeah, the Unbreakable three-way. No, the Unbreakable three-way. If you haven't watched it, Cap, the best triple threat in the history of professional wrestling.
You said Daniels, Joe, and Styles?
AJ Styles.
Yep. And you will be able to easily find...
It was the climax of a year-long feud between these three guys over the belt. It was the best thing TNA ever did.
At the time.
Yeah, Joe had never lost in 3 years. It was amazing. And my favorite moment in the match is where AJ Styles and Samoa Joe are taking turns booting Christopher Daniels in the spine while he's sat up in the ring. And he just starts screaming, "Stop kicking me in the back!"
Daniels is sat there in the ring, and Joe and Styles literally do the whole comedic.
Yeah. With all the time Christopher Daniels screaming, "Stop kicking me in the back!" It's brilliant.
It's also got one of Styles' wild spaceman planchas. You get Samoa Joe's fucking corkscrew tornado over the top.
Everything those guys could do, they do, and more.
You remember Christopher Daniels' old adage, "I don't do anything at minute 20 that I can't do at minute 1." This is the match that truly proves what he was saying. Oh. As somebody with bad knees, that knee buster always fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm starting. I hate to sound like the old bastard in the group, but Maddie knows like my right knee, like my left leg is straight, my right leg kind of curves out a bit. The arthritis in my right knee in the last 6 months or so, like I've started to notice it on an almost daily basis. I'm worried if I'm like this at 37, what kind of pain is this I'm gonna be like Terry Funk in my 50s, just with the bad knee, because this bitch has started to hurt the last 6 or so months. It's like I should not have taken all those sharpshooters and Boston crabs and trying to imitate Bobby Eaton's knee lift or knee drop. It's like, yeah, this is catching up with me.
See, all my shit was to my back and to my head.
My right knee and then my left pinky, which, if anybody doesn't know, is kind of from jamming it and breaking it so many times as a kid, playing baseball and whatever. That's why I have to play guitar with 3 fingers as opposed to all to 4. I mean, Slash gets away with it, but he's Slash.
Now, this is the
Django Reinhardt got away with just 2, but he was Django Reinhardt.
This is the point in the match where Nick was kind of pointing out this is more New Japan style. They're kind of dragging it out a little bit more with logistical submissions as opposed to
and they're also hitting each other pretty stiff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But if you've looked at it, like the submissions Joe has been putting in, like usually he'd put somebody in a Boston crab or a half crab. He's focusing on that ankle. He's focusing on arching that knee as opposed to he's kind of putting him in a standing knee bar in a way.
It's the way I look at it is Joe plays a very good New Japan villain.
Which is crazy because he's only been in New Japan, twice?
Yeah, but his character is perfect for a New Japan ring.
Oh, I agree 110%.
It's built-in realism. He just beats the snot out of people. And like the walk away. Joe's walk away would be the most over thing in New Japan.
Well, you have to think about it.
It's one of the most over things in America.
Well, you also have to think about it because his opponent in this match, Nakamura, kind of used the walk away in his own way because he does the strut away. My favorite moment of that is War of the Worlds, where it was New Japan Ring of Honor show, him versus Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen at the time.
Nakamura and Owens.
Nakamura and Owens from like 2013 or 12 or something. Kevin Owens is going for the cannonball off the apron to the outside, and Nakamura literally just grabs his belt, turns around, and walks the other way as Owens does a full back bump to the fucking floor.
I've gone from in my earlier I don't say in earlier years to not liking Kevin Owens very much to these days respecting the living hell out of him. Yeah. I still don't like him, but I've learned to respect the hell out of what he does. But
Kevin's a really good human.
But
that's the best way to
he seems like a good. It's just I wish he would be more careful at this. He does some spots that I'm just like, dude. It's like watching Mick Foley, back in this. Like, dude, you don't. I did not require you to do that for my entertainment.
No, it's the same mentality, but you got to realize. We've got to that point in our lives when we're now looking back, watching wrestling, going, "Oh, dude, you don't need to do this." But when we were kids, we didn't care that these people could get hurt. We didn't care about that. We just wanted to see them do cool stuff.
Well, here's the thing: like when we were talking about wrestlers that we would have help carry or help build a business, if we used people that were still active. Kevin Owens might replace Mick Foley for me because he did everything that Mick Foley did, but more on an independent scale and proved his worth to the national audience.
Well, he didn't take the nasty plunge that I've ever seen, and he didn't go through a cell and off a cell.
Oh, I was about to say, Kevin would. I know he would totally do it.
He wouldn't. I would heavily advise him against it.
The pirate ship bump at WrestleMania with no fans.
Where he jumped off of the fucking sign.
I've never seen that particular bump.
So here's the thing. Kevin Owens has the mentality that Jeff Hardy and Foley had of, can I jump off of it?
Just because you can does not mean that you should. And that's what I worry about, someone like Darby Allin, who I love Darby Allin. It's like, kid, you're going to be a quadriplegic or unable to walk without a great deal of assistance by the time you're 45 or 50.
To know that you yourself have a broken nose, to agree to a spot where you are hung upside down by your feet and are meant to eat a double super kick. Yeah, Darby, you are... Motherfucker, you got hit by a bus and appeared on Dynamite within a month.
I mean, who else in the business right now could get hit by a bus and then work later in the month other than Darby Allin? It's like, oh, I got hit by a bus.
Kevin Owens would do it in a heartbeat, and you know that.
Well, he had a broken foot, and he also his face was also.
Mm-hmm. You know for a fact Kevin Owens would do that shit too, though.
Again, just because you can does not mean you should.
He's got a kid. I think Kevin Owens at this point in his life would be more adept to be like, you know what, I might stay home.
Yeah, like, don't take the backwards head bump into the ring steps, dude.
No, that's Kevin Owens going, hey, guys, I only got a couple years left in the business. So let's make sure I only have a couple years left in the business.
I mean, when we were at the Rumble and we saw Roman get him that bump.
He took it, 2 or 3 times in a row?
I just... again, it's like, dude, you don't have to go that far to impress me or to entertain me. I get it that it's one of those eye-popping butts, high spots in a match, but it's like, dude, I'm good. You don't owe me that.
I got this idea, guys. I need to take a flat back, but you know how the stairs are slanted, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think the tickets for the 3 of us, like you, me, and Dev, for those floor seats at Rumble was like $1,200, and even after that, it's like, no, you did not owe me that, Kevin. No, you did not. I was just fine.
Dude, just looking at it, like I would do a lot of stupid shit. Even when I was younger, I would do a lot of stupid shit. But that, bro, I don't think I would ever agree to, hey, I'm going to take a flat back, but onto the pointy fucking parts of each fucking stair.
Oh.
I'll be fine. I just got to tuck my neck. No, my guy.
Tuck your neck, tuck your head between your ass and kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, that is the gnarliest bump I think anyone's ever taken. You could see the apprehension in Christian Cage's face.
Oh, Cap, I think this is it.
I'm watching. The one off the top rope.
Yeah, I think that was right to Nakamura or to Joe's chin. But Kevin Owens has like 2 of the 3 gnarliest bumps I've ever seen. The stair bump is one. Taking a Michinoku driver onto a ladder while it's on its fucking side is a whole other one. And then there's Brian Cage throwing Darby Allin into a fucking wall from the ring.
Ricochet took a hell of a bump the other week when Braun Breaker was beating the shit out of him.
That Frankensteiner off the top rope?
No. He lawn darted him into the side of the production truck, and Ricochet just fell like 5 feet down to concrete.
Oh, yeah, straight on his back.
I remember watching when Kevin Nash long darted Rey Mysterio into the trailer. As a kid watching that live and thinking like, oh, God, he's dead.
Can you throw me through the window? No.
A 7-foot, 300-pound man launching a 5'5", 120-pound dripping wet guy straight into a trailer's, the wall of a trailer.
I think the only difference between both of those spots was only one time did we have Jimmy Hart eat the other person.
And actually, if you go back and watch that footage, first time we saw Mysterio without his mask, he was covering his face up, but they removed his mask.
Speaking of being maskless, Okada, with his continued hatred for luchador traditions.
I don't understand what they're doing with Okada right now. I just...
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And before
elaborate, please, gentlemen, because I'm clueless here.
before Nick goes, I just want to say, this is the Okada that we have never been able to see. They are literally letting Okada just be whatever the hell he wants to be. Because for the longest time, he was looked at as, you have to be the ace. You have to be the number 1 best wrestler in the world, because that's what New Japan was expecting of him. However, right now, they're allowing him to be goofy. They're letting him just show what he can do to a national audience as a character, as opposed to the wrestler. And I think it's working, especially with what they did this past week with the Acclaimed, where he's like, oh no, I hit the wrong button. And then he starts crying. And once he moves his hands away from his face, he goes, bitches.
I mean, I've always liked Okada. I mean, I watched 3 of the matches with Omega, and I mean and I've watched other Okada stuff. I've always liked Okada.
You've only watched
He's
3
the Bret Hart of Japanese wrestling.
That means you missed the only match that Omega won.
I watched the 2 out of 3 falls. I watched the 63-minute or this whatever
Wrestle Kingdom 14.
Watched that one, and then I watched
the first one. I'm assuming
the first. Yeah. So those are the 3 that I've seen.
So you didn't see the 4th match where Okada won in the G1 climax?
Yeah, I have not seen the 4th one. I saw the first 3 because everyone's like, "Oh, Cap, you'll have a whole new take on everything." I was like, "Well, I really like this Okada guy, but Kenny, I'm still kind of, I don't know."
But anyway, back to Okada. So the best way I can describe what they're doing with Okada is perfect because Jimmy never really got Okada. He never saw the big deal.
Really?
Yeah. Until he started watching him in AEW, and now he gets it. Because you got to realize the average wrestling fan doesn't care about in-ring work. The average wrestling fan cares about being entertained.
And Okada can be entertaining as shit.
I like a healthy mix of the 2.
This week, the Acclaimed were doing their rap gimmick.
Yep.
And Max Caster's mic cuts out.
Oh no, I hit the
wrong backstage button. And it's a shot of Okada.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
Like Shawn Michaels trying to work the computer at NXT in your house.
And he moves his hands down, dead serious face, and just goes, "Bitch."
It's
brilliant.
It's the fact that we already know Okada is one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Everybody's been told that. Like Cap, you pointed it out. Everybody who's a wrestling fan has been told Okada is one of the best
in the world. Yeah. What we don't know is if he can do everything else.
And he can.
Yeah.
Easy as shit, apparently.
Yeah. He's now getting the chance to do it.
Right to the Nakamuras.
You also have to know the one thing that's outside of most wrestling fan perception is Okada was known in New Japan for stealing people's gear. People would be losing their gear, and then they would walk around the corner, and Okada would be wearing it.
He was a notorious ribber, you would say.
Yes. No. He stole Finn Balor's gear. He stole each member of the Young Bucks gear. I think he stole Omega's gear one time. And it's well known that, Okada is really cool and really close with, the Bucks, Omega, and them. So it makes sense for him to be with the Elite. Also, it was the last NXT takeover because Joe does not have a broken jaw here.
Okay.
So we are firmly getting into the true black and gold era of NXT. What happens after Takeover Toronto really starts showing what we
would see. What year was this? What year are we in on this?
2016.
Toronto, I think it was 2016, yeah.
I mean, 2016. I mean, I wasn't totally tuned out. I was just very, I was busy playing. Like 2014 to 2016, I didn't do anything except play music. I mean, I was that occupied. I worked my job. I played guitar. That was.
I
watched one wrestling event in 2 years, and it was WrestleMania because the girl I was dating at the time was a big wrestling fan, and we did like WrestleMania taco night or something.
Well, this was late 2016.
Well, gents, that was Takeover Toronto. Cat,
I absolutely love
it.
Loved, obviously, Revival DIY loved it. I just think they should have given that match at least 30 to 45 minutes. Oscar Mickey James, good match. I always love seeing Asuka do anything. This match, Joe and Nakamura. I mean, I don't want to say I didn't like it because I liked it, but I just, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because you guys mentioned how short some of these shows were, and Triple H wanting to always leave them wanting more. I get that for television, but on pay-per-view, you've got to pay it off, and that's the one consistent criticism I'm feeling with some of these shows is I get leave them wanting more on TV, so they'll buy the pay-per-view or watch the whatever. On the pay-per-view, you have to pay it off. And by pay it off, I mean give it its full run that it needs. Or if you're going to continue the angle, I get it, but at least make sure that you gave me what it should have been on pay-per-view, and then do something at the end that, oh, there's still more to be told here.
Hey, Nick. Next show.
Okay.
Royal Rumble weekend 2017. Ooh. NXT Takeover San Antonio. Ooh. One that many people tout as a top 5, top 10.
You guys have mentioned that one 2 or 3 times since we've been doing this.
I'm assuming the matches
you got the match card
covering on this. I do. I'm assuming the matches that we'll be covering on this will be the women's fatal 4-way, Asuka versus Billie Kay versus Peyton Royce versus Nikki Cross.
Yes.
I do love me some Nikki Cross.
It's either going to be the Authors of Pain versus DIY or Roderick Strong versus Andrade Cien Almas.
That one.
And the main event of this show is Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura. A lot has changed.
Kind of an odd pairing, but I am intrigued on names alone.
Let me give you the time difference between this. Takeover Toronto was Survivor Series weekend.
Okay, so it's November 2016.
So
Antonio was a few months later.
To January in about 2-3 months, yes.
Okay.
So a lot has changed.
Which is why Nakamura is champ again.
Yes. At this point, Samoa Joe had been called up
to the main roster.
Or was
remember you just said about paying it off on pay-per-view?
Yes.
They paid it off on TV.
Big mistake. Never pay it off on TV.
Yeah, but they did. Because
there's a couple times NXT does that. And it's to get ratings on NXT TV.
Yes.
Classic all-time lesson why you never pay it off on TV. Hogan Goldberg, July 6, 1998.
I know. Right, gents.
I mean, luckily all the matches that happened on TV were much better than that.
My friends, shill away.
Right now, the actual Raw Ball is on a bit of a hiatus at the moment. We're reconfiguring a few things.
Tuesday, we might not. It all depends.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a reconfiguration at this point, just with scheduling, and we've basically the year and a half that we've done it, we've worked ourselves into the ground. So we're reconfiguring some things there. I know for sure we will be back for the All-Star game. We already have Buck Ringgold going to be joining us. He will actually be at the All-Star game covering the Futures game. So we'll have a Hall of Fame sports reporter on hand. SummerSlam, looking forward to that, see what they do. And then NFL starts Thursday, September 5th, I believe. Yep, Thursday, September 5th, NFL season starts, and then we are full go into football season. Raw Ball goes Red Zone every Sunday, 7 hours of commercial-free bullshit.
looking forward to that in so many ways, as much as I am also looking forward to recording this Wednesday.
The mystery show.
we've dropped some teasers. If you follow the Ocknerd channel on Twitter, you will see some of the teasers, but yes, we've got something recording this Wednesday. Very excited about that.
Some might say it's going to be out of this world.
It'll be very out of this world.
Okay.
This will be something that will be released both on audio and video streams. So we're going to be releasing this on Spotify. We're going to be releasing this on Stitcher, as well as hopefully getting every episode out on YouTube as well. So there's that. Yeah. We got a lot going on. This Thursday, catch the Greg Cherry Show, Jack of All Trades. It will be defending champion Chris Cass defending against myself.
And we lost
Jeff
Matthew.
Meacham.
Oh.
There we go. He's back. Matty, you've paused.
Okay, cool. I cut out. Where did I cut out?
You're back.
Chris Cass.
Chris Cass. They're defending against yourself.
Yeah. Defending champion Chris Cass will be defending against myself, Jeff Meacham of the Jeff Meacham Network, and former WWE Hardcore Champion Maven. So we're going to be doing a fatal four-way Jack of all trades. That is happening this
The Underliminator.
I cannot wait for that, as this is someone who was a part of one of my favorite Royal Rumble moments of all time.
I watched a few interviews with Maven recently, and he seems like a pretty. I dig his interview. Like, he seems like a pretty,
Dude,
straight shooter.
He's got maybe the sexiest voice on all of wrestling YouTube, so I'll take that as well.
Possibly, yeah.
But yes, there's a lot going on this next week.
If you enjoy what we do here at Wrestling Legion, please like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything we do in the future. It's a big help. It's free, and it's the only way the YouTube algorithm knows we exist. If you do enjoy watching myself and do what we do here, you can catch myself and the Drip King Jimmy Bay over on the Drip King Wrestling channel every Thursday at 1 a.m. UK time. No idea what that is for you in the States. Sorry. For AEW Dynamite Boom or Bust show where we review Dynamite, no analytics, just fans' opinions. And also, you can find us. We are back doing our weekly podcasts at 7 p.m. usually on a Thursday night. Sorry, we were away last week. The lads were ill. We will be doing those again. And you can catch us here on Takeover the Table every other Sunday, 6 p.m. UK time. So we will see you in 2 weeks. And always remember, we are but three geeks obsessed with a good show. And our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. See you next time.
All right. See ya.